this is what I loved about it. You know, you are the quintessential entrepreneur. So I was fascinated by it. Let me do the formalities here. So
The intro.
welcome back, Fear Not podcast. I took a couple weeks off. One was because I had to be on another very awesome podcast, which is hosted by now my guest, Kevin Maas.
Let's go.
And we were on the Two Aboard podcast, which is focused super on West Michigan entrepreneurship and a whole bunch of other stuff. And it's kind of blown up. So it was pretty,
No. We're not there
pretty
yet.
cool deal.
We're not there yet.
But among other things, you know, Kevin
Yeah.
Maas is a local entrepreneur, local podcast host, a local sort of getting into all kinds of stuff that we're going to talk about, and also a political candidate, or as you say, the political winner for state assembly in 2026, which is
you make me sound very official. I was gonna say local douchebag. You know what I mean?
well, that would just mean everybody.
Yeah,
that's all of us.
I think it's just like whatever I do, I just try to enjoy it.
Yeah,
And
well, that shows,
just kind of, you can call me a lot of things, but I'm just me.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like if you tie yourself down to like, yeah, I work here and that's my identity, or like, yo, I do this, that's my identity. My identity is just like, I'll either wear a sweatshirt, I'll wear a tank top, or I'll wear a suit. Every other like, you know, we're on the Local Vana show, the Fear Not podcast. I'm gonna suit up for it, you know,
Sure,
look professional.
Yeah, we can fly.
But I rarely wear a suit on my podcast.
But it's nice. It's nice to be able to do different things. I mean, I think everybody's the same way in a way.
Yeah, no,
We're all just wearing different clothes in the same body. So
really.
you know what I mean?
You think?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'm in flip flops and sometimes I'm in dress shoes.
See, my mind, I think differently. I think. Never mind. We'll switch. You know, but no, I think no matter what I'm doing right now, it's just having fun, and I'm trying to put a smile on other people's face while also boosting my brand.
Yeah. Well,
to the
if you
best
do
of my
that,
ability.
You're rocking. That's like what we talked about, you know, the other night. It's like
Yeah.
we're trying to make a message that's makes people think. So if
Exactly.
you do that, you're adding value to the world, I say.
Yeah.
So
hopefully.
Awesome. Well, but thanks for coming out
thank
and being here. It's cool to get to talk again.
Yeah.
You're interesting. Let's just get give us the brief history of Kevin Maas up to this day.
Brief history of Kevin Maas.
Because it's not a not interesting history.
So, let's see. I was born and raised in Holland, Michigan.
Right on.
Went to Lakewood Elementary. I went to Macatawa Bay Middle School.
Okay.
I went to West Ottawa High School. And then I went to Michigan for 2 years, and I swam there.
University.
Yeah, University of Michigan. Swam there for 2 years, and then I started my business, took off, and then I decided that I didn't want to, I don't know, I don't even know what I decided, but I just decided whatever school was and whatever I was learning, it felt like I wasn't learning anything, and I felt like I was learning what I wasn't supposed to learn. Like they were instilling fear instead of instilling confidence, and for me, like I wanted to be a confident entrepreneur, a confident whatever I'm doing, but they were like instilling fear, instilling how hard it is to start a business, how hard it is to do everything in life, just how hard life is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I just decided to, I am an unpaid intern right now. I'm actually still enrolled. I'm taking one online. I've been past 2 semesters I took one online credit. So
Yeah, well, that's
technically I'm still a student, but I don't think I'm going to finish the degree. Just because I don't need it. Like,
Well, but there's like you
know what
said,
I mean?
there's stuff to learn. There's factual stuff you can.
but it's like you can learn that on YouTube.
You can. That's
You know
the
what I
thing
mean?
about nowadays.
Why do you need
man.
to learn it from a professor who hasn't done it?
Right.
Like why do I need to learn entrepreneurship from a professor who isn't an entrepreneur? Mm-hmm. You know what I
that's
mean?
fair.
And then
I mean, the best
can-
way to learn how to be an entrepreneur is start a business.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the only way to learn.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you get your ass handed to you a couple times and you figure some things out. And then you get your ass handed to you anyway. I mean, that is being in business.
Yeah, no, I failed. I started at SMMA, like during my freshman year of college, and I was gonna do it was social surge, so I was gonna, you know, sell sponsorships to athletes. Like I was gonna be the middleman between the brands and the athletes, and I was like,
It's like
I'm
agency kind of.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and I was like, I'm a Michigan athlete. I know all the athletes. This is gonna be so easy.
Right.
Failed. Didn't get a single athlete. Didn't get a single brand. Failed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just gonna be a social media marketing agency, and I'm gonna go to these brands. So I would dress up in a suit and go downtown GR, door to door to all these businesses.
Wow.
Like trying to do their social media. Didn't get a single customer,
Yeah.
and failed. And yeah, that business completely flopped. And yeah, like you said though, it's just like trial and error.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way to really learn.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. So you were a swimmer, you said.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I won
Which
one state junior year,
state of Michigan?
state of Michigan, 50 free, and then senior year,
50 free. That's kind of like the main event, isn't it?
yeah.
Wow.
Well, so and then senior year, I was seated second going into the meet. The guy who was seated first, he was a junior and I was a senior, and I won the year before.
Uh-huh.
And I get told through a buddy of mine that this guy who's seated first is saying that I'm a bitch and saying that he's gonna smoke me. And in prelims, he beats me. He beats me in prelims. He's seated like 0.3 ahead of me. But finals, I mean, it's just a winner's mentality. Like the winner wins, and the winner won. I won
Nice.
in finals by 0.02. So like
Wow.
this much.
That's crazy.
And yeah, I like to tell that story because he's.
Wow.
And then
Maybe if he didn't say that, you wouldn't have been as
I probably wouldn't have won.
Yeah.
I literally, because I was thinking about that got in my head, and
Well,
that's
I
the
think
worst thing
there's
you could
some people that respond to that in one way, which
Yeah.
is the way you did, and there's some people that let it get into their head, and
Yeah.
and that's obviously what he's trying to do by letting that message get to you. He's trying to get to you, but that goes back to the whole. Yeah, I think that's the difference between people that do ultimately go out and start businesses. You know, it's like the odds are not good
do. Yeah.
to start a business. Just statistically, the odds are not good. You're probably going to fail and probably going to lose money.
Only if you give up.
Yeah, exactly. And most people do
Yeah.
at a given time. But then there's people that are like, if you think I'm not going to do it, it's going to make me try a lot harder to do it.
Yeah. Well, I think if someone has a chip on their shoulder, and someone feels that they're disadvantaged, or someone feels like they're challenged in some sort of way, those people are the people who are going to succeed, because those people are the people who are never going to give up.
Yeah.
That's the way I think. Like any successful person I can think of, either, their daddy's money and they got everything handed to them, or
It's the
they
easiest way to make money, by the way. Inherit.
marry rich.
Yeah, marry rich or inherit it.
Yeah.
Those are two tried and true business
And
models.
I will say, like, I would not be where I am today without my parents.
Sure.
Without the people that have taken chances on me. Day in
And
and day out.
everybody
So,
that's honest and successful can say that, should say that,
Yeah.
if they're being honest. But
Well, and
It's the
and
difference
like the
between-
people who helped me out in my business, though, like I wouldn't. It's not me. If it was it's a sole proprietorship. But if it was just me running the business, we would have been bankrupt.
Yeah.
I would have been bankrupt. Like
I think that's true for any successful person. They've had teammates, they've had people that believed them, they've
Yeah.
always had help.
yeah.
And there's the difference between the people that worked and had the help. And obviously, if you're born as a billionaire, frankly, I think
Yeah.
that's the worst curse you could get in life.
Really.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind being
I
born.
think it's easy to say, but imagine if you had no fire in your belly. Like imagine if you never had to overcome like an obstacle. You never had to overcome a challenge. You would always wonder if you were strong enough to do it. I think, at least I would. I mean, it's one thing to be like, well, maybe you'd be wondering that on a jet to Paris, like on a private jet, and maybe it wouldn't bother you as much. But I don't know. For me,
Well-
I'd rather know that I was a strong person than to have a comfortable life.
Yeah. And I think people that are billionaires and that were born into that billionaire family, I think that those people, when someone says like, hey, someone's like, oh, it's your daddy's money, it's this, it's that, they think like, well, they have a good point, like they're actually right. But
Yeah.
if it's like a real person who is self-made, who worked for it themselves and know that they didn't have everything handed to them and really worked for it, they know, they like laugh it off because they know they did it.
No, exactly.
But you know, I think that
Well,
to your
it's
point,
you know, it's a
that
bummer too. Like, imagine there could be like a person
Yeah.
who was born as a billionaire and stayed as a billionaire, but everybody's always going to be like, oh, you know, you were only that because you inherited it. And even if it's not true, you can't disprove that. You can't be like, I would have built this from scratch anyway.
Yeah.
Probably not true, but let's say it was. You could never prove it. So,
Couldn't.
you know, whatever. It's cool. I think having challenges is cool.
Yeah.
And putting yourself in a position to win is cool. And being somebody that's motivated by people thinking they're not going to win. That's the way I'd rather be.
Yeah.
So you've taken that lesson of like, don't tell me I can't do it because you smoked a dude. Well, smoked 2.2 seconds. You won. Doesn't matter.
0.02.
0.02. That's
0.02.
Do they have
so-
like some sort of thing on the wall that senses when you touch it? Or how do they determine?
Yeah, well, there's like a touchpad. So, say in a 50 free, actually, the trick is you need to touch the touchpad hard to register. So, if you watch the video really, it looks like he won. Like he actually probably did win, but his finish, he like touched it and then glided in and touched it with his back. But for me, I touched it, boom, and I felt like I broke my finger because I touched it so hard. And that's why mine registered first, which at the end of the day.
I think there's a metaphor to be had there, though.
Yeah, well, it's just like, don't be a pussy.
Yeah,
and that's
pretty
what
much.
he was.
That's the metaphor.
It's just, that he wasn't from West Michigan, and
Right.
winners are built in West Michigan.
Damn, okay.
And tough men are built in West Michigan. Tough men are not built in East Michigan. That's just the way I like to think about it. It might not be like statistically accurate, but it's, look at the numbers. The numbers speak for themselves.
There've been a lot. Actually West Michigan is surprisingly filled with like a very successful group of people and some pretty amazing industries that really. I didn't grow up in Michigan, right? I had no idea that there was the types of industries and things like that in this state. It's pretty amazing.
You know Cranbrook? Cranbrook on the east side. It's like the $60,000 a year high school, massive high school.
Wow.
Brightest of the bright, graduate from there. But the Cranbrook High School, designers from there, like the best designers, move to Holland, Michigan, and start furniture companies here.
Ah, okay.
Like Hayworth,
Yeah,
Herman
oh, yeah.
Miller,
Yeah,
a
this
million
is
other
like
furniture companies.
the furniture capital of the world.
Yeah,
big
really.
automotive, a lot of tech though, a lot of things that you didn't know.
Billionaire capital of the Midwest.
For sure. Very
Right,
surprising.
Holland,
Yeah,
Michigan.
that was like surprising to me when I got here. It was like, I worked in financial services and I was like, man, this place is a lot of people.
It's like Wall Street.
Yeah.
Literally, West Michigan is like the new Wall Street. Like people think of Nashville, people think of New York,
people
think of, LA. Nothing compares to the money in West Michigan.
There's a lot
and
of it per
and you know
capita, for
why?
sure.
It's the people. It's the best people
Well,
on
that's
planet
the beauty.
Earth.
That's why I love that when I first moved here, people were like, Michigan is the only state where you can call a wrong number and then you can talk for 30 minutes.
Exactly.
Really, the people are like so
do you
nice
do you
here.
do that? Do you do that? Has that ever happened?
Well, the problem now is like you don't even call wrong numbers because everybody just has cell phones.
Yeah.
I think wrong numbers is a thing of the past with the old
yeah, the
phones.
dial.
You used to call wrong numbers and stuff, and now you just assume everything's spam if it's not saved on your phone. But
I just wouldn't want to waste my time. I would just hang up immediately. I would just be like, why would I talk to them for 30 minutes? I would be nice. I would be very
Sure.
nice.
Hell yeah.
But like, what's the point?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
just like, to me, there's really no point. So I wouldn't want to.
So then,
talk to
so you win the swimming thing, and you decide, okay, I don't want to learn about business. I want to do it. You go out there, you hustle, you start a few, they don't work, and then you start a couple, and you're like, so you get the podcast rolling,
Oh no,
get some
that's
traction. That's
way
fast
down
forward.
the road.
All right,
way down the road.
All right,
So
let's go from there then.
So, started Lakeside Property Masters after. So I did a window cleaning business where me and my friend, we were just cleaning windows, doing ourselves. Like we were just going door to door, selling jobs, doing jobs, repeat. Made it $4,000 in one summer, boom.
Nice.
And I was like, I need to get a truck because my Ford Edge ain't cutting it. So I sold my Ford Edge, had $6K cash,
Okay.
$4K cash from the money I made, $10K cash, and then I was gonna buy my truck.
Yep.
And I flew to Nashville where my brother lived to buy this truck, really nice truck, and drive it back because it had no rust. Because you know, like the rust in Michigan.
True.
And then the friend that I flew there with took all the money cash. Never spoke to him since. This was 2 years ago.
He took it?
Yeah.
How?
We got drunk in Nashville. Went back to my brother's place. I had the 10,000 cash in my bag. He said he was grabbing a charger. Best friend of 8 years, mind you. He said he was grabbing a charger from my brother's room. Went to grab the charger. Took the charger, but really took the cash. Left. Flew home, and I've never seen him since.
Really?
Police report, everything. Yeah.
Do you know where he is?
Yeah, I'm probably around here.
Seriously?
I don't care. I mean, money's money. I went right back here, grinded, but you know what? I didn't go here. I went to Bloomfield Hills, scammed the fuck out of like 8 jobs, and made $10,000 in 3 days. Made the money back in 3 days.
Wow.
I'm not like I did. That's like the most scammy I've ever been. But it's
What do
like,
you mean by scam? Like, how'd you scam?
oh, I just charged ridiculous
Yeah,
prices.
but they paid it.
Yeah,
That's not a scam.
I still did the job.
Yeah.
And they paid after the job was done. But it's
So-
like for the prices that I usually charge, it was
Or maybe you just don't charge enough then. I mean,
No,
if
yeah,
they were willing
yeah.
to pay it, doesn't
No,
sound
I-
like a scam.
well. I mean, it's just like I wouldn't. Yeah, I guess you're right. But like
So you hustled.
I hustled.
You
for the
hustled
money.
to get
Yeah.
some money. You went to a place with a lot of windows. And
No. It was all pressure washing.
Oh, pressure
all siding pressure washing.
Right
All
on.
house washes.
Yep.
You couldn't make that in Windows in 3 days.
Oh, gotcha.
But then after that, went back to school. Most awful year of my life. It just sucked. Like the first couple weeks of swimming, it's just like it was a tough spot. I was like, I wasn't enjoying life. I wasn't. I just hated school. It's like they treat you like you're a kindergartner. It's like fuck you. That was just my mindset. Was just
Being a
fuck
student
you.
athlete, I was not one. I've always thought it looked like a hard life anyway, because you're you've got like 2 full-time jobs.
Well, and even like 20 hours a week, that's the limit. But every week you're over 20 hours.
What do you mean the limit for what?
Like school school. It's like you usually take 16 credits a week, right? It's like
Yeah.
average
Does that
16
mean
hours a week. But swim is 20.
Yeah.
And that's the maximum.
But that doesn't include homework though.
Yeah, but
Like
no. I'm saying every week it was over 20.
That's what I
because of
mean.
the optional practices. So it was really more.
So
like
you're saying
20.
like you're taking 16 hours of classes, but you probably
Yeah.
double that. For
And I'm
homework.
not a smart guy. Like I am not student smart. You know what I mean? Like don't.
Right, well.
I'm not a good. So like 16 hours of Michigan school for me, that was extremely tough on its own.
Yeah.
So, but
And
I
then
mean,
you're practicing. So you're 50, 60 probably hours before you even go out and make any money or do anything else.
Yeah, it wasn't the most enjoyable
Mm-hmm.
time of my life. But then that summer I had an internship lined up at Hayworth, big furniture company in
Oh,
Holland,
cool.
and I didn't want to do that internship because I just started this new company on my own, Lakeside Property Masters, and was going to do the same thing I did last summer with my friend, but this time with a whole new team.
Mm-hmm.
But my parents, they didn't want me to do this. They thought I was going to fail. And they told me to do the internship. So I did the internship, all 40 hours a week, and the business with a team of 8 people. And at the same time, with these 8 people, they were full-time. And I was working 40 hours a week at Hayworth and doing 60 hours a week at LPM, starting it from the ground up with a tiny storage unit, working it up to a bigger storage unit, working it up to the shop you saw now.
Yeah.
And so that summer was really the hardest. I mean, I was averaging probably 2-3 hours of sleep a night.
Yep.
And it was tough, but it also like instilled in me that whatever I want in life, it's mine.
For sure.
It's mine.
Yeah.
I just need to work for it. Nobody thought my business was going to be successful. Everybody thought I was going to fail. My parents thought I was going to fail. My whole team's parents thought we were going to fail. They didn't want them working for me.
Yeah.
But every single one of them got checks every week, good checks every week, and I never paid myself.
Yep.
Never paid myself for that. But I was fine because I was working 40 hours a week at Hayworth.
Sure.
So
And establishing a customer base, establishing a business.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, most of our customers, even to this day, are all brand new customers.
yeah.
Because it's harder to sell a plan than it is to sell a job.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And I mean, we still have door-to-door salesmen, new jobs, new jobs, new jobs. So I don't like banking on people to follow through.
Yeah.
I'd rather just bank on my team and have a team that I know I can bank on to get jobs and go work their ass off and get jobs every time. So but now it's nice because we have repeat customers.
Yep.
But yeah, so then after that, I got money on my hands and I got time and I have a will that I don't want to go to school after the summer. So then I'm like, all right, what am I going to do? I'm going to run for Park Township trustee. So I go there and I'm like, put my name on the ballot. And they were like, you're too late. And I was like, how can I get my name on the ballot? Write in. So I was a write-in.
Okay.
And meanwhile, I already had my sights set on the state senate. 2026, because I knew Victory, he's long gone, he's donezo bunzo, and I'm taking that spot. But you can't nobody's going to elect a 21-year-old just out of nowhere. No one's heard of me. So I ran for Park Township trustee, got 754 write-in votes, and proved that I have the intentions. I know what I'm doing.
Yep.
And like the people bought in. 0 donations, self-funded, still self-funded.
Wow.
At printing myself, doing everything myself. For that there's no team. It's just me.
Wow.
No campaign manager, no treasurer.
Right on.
None of that bullshit. Just me.
Sadly, I mean, that's how politics probably should be, I think. You know,
What?
it shouldn't be up to
Yeah.
who can have the best campaign manager and who can raise the most money, ideally. Obviously, politics is what it is. It always has been. But, you know, I think the ideal thing is you find somebody that really is passionate and can get the job done, and that's who should win.
Yeah. Just like a hard worker.
Yeah.
That's it. Because most politicians, I'm there every week. Nobody's there.
Right.
Nobody's in their office. Nobody's working. The only person I see working is Eric Nesbitt. He's the guy who's winning governor in 2026.
Got it.
I also am a little bit biased because I work unpaid for him.
Right on.
That was a big thing. I couldn't be paid, unpaid intern. Because it's like I'm running to be a
Yeah.
winning,
That makes sense.
blah,
That's
blah,
cool.
blah.
So
But-
you just went, you were like, hey, I want to work in your staff or whatever?
So it was like a school internship.
Huh?
It was supposed to be 3 months, but I've been there for 6 months because I show up once a week
Right.
and I
Not going to turn
I
the
work harder than anyone else, in my opinion. Then again, the whole office is
Yeah.
a team of hustlers.
Sure.
But I work really hard,
That's cool.
and they're fine with me coming back because I learn a
on.
lot. I don't really know anything about politics,
Yeah.
but I learn a lot while I'm there. So,
Very cool. Yeah, I was
That's
just
good.
telling you, I was just there. I was at the Capitol building
yeah.
for with my daughter's school trip.
Uh-huh.
Man, that's a cool building.
So,
And
I mean,
they gave us a tour and taught us the whole history about the Capitol was in Detroit, and then they had to flee the British invading, so they moved into the center of the state and all this thing, and showed us the floor and all the
You know
stuff
what?
that goes on there. It's
that
pretty
ca-
cool.
It's cool, but like it's at the same time when you think about it, is not cool. It's actually like pathetic because you know how nice that building is. It's like
Yeah.
luxury, everything,
I
so
do
nice.
see that.
But then what about the city of Lansing?
That's fair.
It's a train wreck.
Fair.
Like they spent all the money on the Capitol
Yeah.
every year.
Mm-hmm.
No money on the city of Lansing. And Lansing isn't a number one city. It's not even close. It's probably like near the bottom already. Never going to change because West Michigan is just superior. But no. This is like a proven fact.
Well, it is
This
what you point out the
I mean,
disparity
you
between
know, you're Locavana.
Yeah.
That you guys chose. You were like, we want to choose the best regions in America, and you were like, Holland, Grand Haven, Hudsonville.
it is a phenomenal.
We got our sights set on this number one triangle in America.
It's great. It's great for what we do because
Yeah.
it has people that care about health, that are willing to spend money on their food to get quality food. It's got tons of farms and all of these things. So I mean, it is for our business model. It is a phenomenal place to be.
Yeah, for every business
But
model.
and again, it's not like there's nice, but we lived a little bit in central Michigan and Hazlitt and stuff. But what you point out, and I think Lansing wouldn't be the only example of this, is the disparity between the haves and the have-nots. I think is a big problem, and I think it's a growing problem.
Yeah.
Politics aside, I mean, I think somebody's got to figure out.
Well, I think a lot of it is politics.
Well, it probably is.
We have a governor who's giving away $4.7 billion to her corporate allies, diluting it, and there's never been a government commit so much fraud since the Whitmer administration in the past 8 years. It's ridiculous. 4.6 billion a year on the roads. But have you seen, you drive on the highways every day. They all, like, none of them are good. But then you go to like Utah, Park City, Utah, more snow on planet Earth. The roads are amazing.
I haven't been there, and that's not my political corruption makes me sick. It's not my expertise.
Yeah.
I think it's rampant.
Well, we had Gretchen Whitmer take away $630, not $630. That would be one thing. $630 million from the teachers' pension fund, diluted that into the road fund, which she's the one who turned a $9 billion surplus. The Republicans left her, turned it into a $1 billion deficit in the span of 1 year.
Really?
And then she's making up for this by taking money from the teachers, $630 million, putting it back into, I'm not exactly sure where she put it, but that's the point, right? She's corrupt. And it's, I know you're not even political, and this isn't a political podcast,
I'm not political. I'm sort of disgusted by the whole thing. And I really hope that eventually there's people that truly do come in and turn the whole thing around. The one thing that drives me absolutely bonkers is the insider trading stuff. And at the very least, at least a couple years ago even, they were at least had enough respect for everybody to try and hide it. Today, they don't even bother.
Well,
they're just, they might as well tweet that I'm insider trading today. How are you guys doing? It's that I think should be punishable by death.
You know what's even funnier though? The insider trading, they're hiding what they're really doing by this insider trading stuff. Because what you didn't know, what I didn't know, what nobody knew, was that they were insider trading, but that's not how Nancy Pelosi got a net worth of $300 million. She got that through stealing USAID money. That's how she got it, but nobody knew it. She was hiding it by telling people I'm insider trading, which is crazy to say, but it's true. It's true. She was hiding.
I don't disagree.
You know,
I mean, honestly, I worked in Africa. I lived in Africa for 5 years. The UN, in my opinion, is probably the biggest mafia organization in the entire world. And that's where everybody just funnels money to get stolen from. And it's not untrue. I mean, I'm very convinced of it. Again, for me, it's not a political thing. I think it's everybody. I think it's all of them. Not every single politician per se, but I think it's
damn near.
There's a pretty good cross section, and that's pretty sad that we just constantly turn a blind eye to it and act like there's nothing we could do about it. But
I mean, it's just every politician who's funded by anybody automatically corrupt, because they're automatically not doing what they want to do. They're doing what their donors want them to do. Automatically.
Oh yeah,
that's it. Like.
No, we see it even with when we're talking about food and stuff like that. Because honestly, the food system is one of the biggest sources of corruption that there is. Because really, food, you think about it, food is literally a consumable. You're needing it constantly. It's a huge industry. It's a great place to make recurring to steal recurring revenue. So we have food in this country that is absolutely not even food, and they're doing something about it now. And there's a good growing trend that is, I would say, not a partisan thing. I think Americans are sick of just how disgraceful our food is. But then you look at studies, right? We've come across this studies on sugar, that sugar does not contribute to obesity. But then you find out that the person who is funded the person who's doing the study is funded by the sugar industry. Like literally the biggest conflict of interest you could possibly think of. And yet then they can cite a study. And who's to say, you look at honestly the 2009 financial crisis, goes back to a systemic conflict of interest, which is that all these rating industries, these bond rating industries, S&P, Moody's, Morningstar, all these things, the people that they're rating the bonds for are the ones paying them to rate their bonds. So they're inherently incentivized to not downgrade the rating until it's so blatantly obvious that they have no option. But they were keeping up the ratings on bonds that they knew were probably going to default, which makes the bond look basically better than it is. But they're getting paid. It's like if I was to say to you, like, I'm going to pay you to tell me how much my truck is worth. Oh, and by the way, I want it to be worth $50,000.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And
then you are like, well, okay, it's worth $50,000. Can I have my money, please? Yeah. This is how we do it in this world. And I don't even crazy. Say this country. It's just, but it's as old as the age as time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like that in the Roman Empire. It's like that in the early days of the United States. So how do you combat corruption is the question. I don't know.
You expose it and you confront the fear.
But it's exposed. I mean, everybody knows it.
Well, most people are afraid of it. They're afraid to say anything about it. They're afraid that they're going to get canceled. They're afraid that their donors are going to stop donating to them. So they just ignore it, no matter who it is, no matter if it's the president, no matter if it's a senator, no matter who it is. People are just afraid of exposing it, probably because of their donors. But I think at the end of the day, we got to confront that fear and expose it, which is what DOGE is doing right now, the Department of Government Efficiency.
Honestly, I like that. I like that initiative.
How do you feel about RFK?
I actually like most of what he says. And I am always a person that I take anybody, whether it's a politician, whether it's a celebrity, whether it's a friend. I think one of the problems that you have nowadays is if you say, I like such and such a thing, you're like, you automatically, I like everything about him. I want to give him a hug. And I think what he's doing with food is awesome. I think the dyes, I think all the chemicals and the preservatives that get put into our food, which are not even legal in most other countries, I think that is a travesty. And we have literally a population in the United States whose life expectancy is decreasing. We're the only developed nation where your life expectancy this year is less than what it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I like that about him. I'm not going to say I love everything about him. I'm not even going to say I know everything about him because I don't. I don't study politicians and every single view and every single statement. I don't necessarily agree with like all the anti-vaccine stuff, but there again, I'm not educated enough on it to say I have a stance.
Yeah.
But I do love what he's doing with the food.
Well, and I think to your point, people nowadays, people believe everything they hear from people they like. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to out myself here because I say things that are untrue every single day. There's like
everybody does.
There's like a 70% chance that, what I'm saying is like factually backed up by science and stats, which I think is true with most people.
Sure.
Most people just won't say that.
Right.
But like, you got to take everything you hear from everyone with a grain of salt. Like, no matter who it is, just take it with a grain of salt because if there's no fact behind it, then you don't know if it's true. Like, I was saying this rubbish about Michigan highways, and I was like, I'm pretty sure all Michigan roads are actually concrete. I said that. And it's like, that's just not true, not even close to being true. And right. I was getting attacked in my comments, but then it's like, why? Like, look, I posted it because I knew I was going to attack and I knew that it was going to go viral, which it did. But like at the end of the day, it's like, look, you got to take everything you hear with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
And to RFK, I love RFK and I think he's doing great things, but who's the king of all the food corruption? McDonald's.
Yeah.
What's in their food? But then he won't say a word about McDonald's because
right.
El Presidente, I love the El Presidente, Donald Trump. He's doing incredible things with Doge, but he won't call out McDonald's because President Trump likes McDonald's. But then he'll call out the cereal, which like,
Yeah.
do you eat more cereal or McDonald's? For me, I eat more McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't. I can't stand McDonald's.
I eat
but-
McDonald's every day.
Do you?
It's
Oh my
amazing.
God.
It's so good.
Well, of course, it tastes delicious.
It's
I mean, but it's so god awfully bad for you.
I just don't cook.
But-
That's my thing. I
Well,
don't
you
cook.
don't even have to cook though.
do
You
you-
can
what do you
still
do
eat
then?
better than that.
How? Tell me how.
Tell you how? Well, first of all, you should learn how to cook.
I'm broke.
If you're broke,
I'm
this
broke.
is the
I've always
biggest
been
myth.
broke. I never save money.
This is the biggest myth.
I have
You know
money,
what?
I spend
I'll give you a quick aside on my concept of saving money. Now it's different when you're a little older and you have kids and a wife and stuff.
And the Navy SEAL.
Yeah, that doesn't-
Do they give you a pension? Like, or like, do you
No,
get?
no. If you stay 20 years, I did not.
How many years did you stay?
I was 8 years.
And you don't get any benefits from that?
No.
You were 8 years in the Navy.
It's- if you stayed 19 and a half, you don't get any benefits. It's 20 years.
And then
That's all.
And
of
then
the,
what?
the
What if
entire
you stay?
military.
What if you stay 20?
Then you get a certain percentage of your salary forever.
How much?
I think it's pretty good. It's like 70 or 75 or something
A year?
a year. So it's pretty good.
Does it
It's
go up
pretty
with
good.
inflation?
I believe so. I
Wow.
believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good deal. But
Is that
when you're young-
Are Navy SEALs the highest paid out of anyone?
so the Navy, actually, believe it or not, you're on the same pay scale. It's all based on rank. Doesn't matter what your job is. If you are an E5 in the Navy, you're on the E5 pay scale. Now there are certain special pays. So if you get rated for like demolitions, you get rated for languages, you get rated for various other skill sets, and also hazard pay. So if you go, like when you're in a war zone, you get some extra money and stuff like that. And so there are like some special pays. So you would get paid a little bit more than an E4 or an E5 that, does a different job.
Mm.
But yeah, you're pretty much everybody in the military is equal in rank and pay and all that for the most part. So
That's kind of crazy.
it is
Like I
it
feel like
isn't,
Navy
huh?
SEALs should get a lot more than like some busboy. Shout out the
Well-
busboys and every shout out. Okay, thank you for your service
I
and your
appreciate it.
dedication and your
No
sacrifice
worries.
to our country.
Appreciate it.
Thank every single one of you who has sacrificed any of your time serving our country. I appreciate you, and I hope I don't offend you when I say this, but I feel like Navy SEALs should get more than the busboy.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. There's probably some additional risk and things like that. I think
I mean,
most.
like deaths.
Well, yeah.
What
but
busboy is
Well, I'll tell
getting
you.
killed?
I'll tell you a story though. So I think a lot of the SEALs that I know would say this. I mean, we had we got kind of we had a lot more resources. Let's put it that way. Whether it's in country, but especially like in the war zones and things like that. And obviously, you're doing the risky missions, but there's Army units out there whose job, and this is no shit, and it's it's extremely fucked up, but like there were divisions that we would get. We went on a specific mission one time. We went to this forward operating base. It was an Army base, and their job, but they were like basically like a land sweeping unit. They had these big trucks, and they also had a bunch of people carriers, and they would drive these trucks around to get blown up, to find out where there was landmines. And it sounds crazy, but
there was people in these trucks.
well, yeah. And they weren't trying to necessarily to blow up the ones with the people in them. Some of the trucks were like they had these long things, and they were hopefully the long thing in the front would get blown up first so that nobody would die, but that didn't happen all the time. And this Army unit that we were with had the highest casualty rating of any unit in the military at that time. This was like 2007 or something. And
Wow.
I was actually reading. I was at this base, and the Army Times had done a story about them because they were the most. They had the most casualties of any unit, and fucking depressing.
Yeah.
Like these dudes were out there, and these are Army privates, and So it's kind of hard to say like anybody deserves more just because they
That's
did a special unit or something like that. These dudes were out there getting hung out to dry, and it was part of the mission, and they fucking did it. And they were getting I read in this article that they got to the point where they would take tennis balls and they would like some of them would sit in the truck. By the way, if somebody happens to know, because it was so long ago, I don't even remember what the name of the unit was, but I know it was an article in the Navy Times, and it was somewhere near Baghdad. But if anybody happens to know, it'd be cool to actually, because you can fact check the hell out of this. This is 100% true. But if somebody knows what unit this was, I'd love to know. So anyway, they were sitting in the back of their trucks and they would throw tennis balls at each other to practice swatting grenades away because they were just fucking going into these places and getting grenades rained down on them. So they would just sit there practicing with tennis balls, like fucked up.
damn.
And so, yeah, man, I would say everybody in the military deserved way more than they got.
Yeah.
I don't think, special forces necessarily. I get what you're saying, and I don't take it as a
I'm
sign
saying
of-
like those guys, they should, like, I'm just saying like the percentage of the military, special forces, and that army is that Army Marines?
that was I think that was an Army unit. It could be
Army
even
unit.
again. Fact check me. I'm 99% sure it was Army, but it could have been a Marine
But
detachment.
most of the units like in the military, correct me if I'm wrong, but most of them don't even go out on the battlefield, right?
I don't know what the percentage is. It depends too. Like at that time, there's probably a higher percentage. Nowadays, less,
Yeah.
obviously. But I mean, the world is a messed up place, and you don't know anymore. You could be deployed to France and freaking be suddenly there's a terrorist attack. I mean,
Yeah.
again, I think it's a pretty and you're giving up your life no matter what. So the bottom line is I think everybody in the military deserves more than they get, and it's it's a great way to grow as a person, to go put yourself in that position where the difference. This is kind of an interesting concept, like the difference between being an entrepreneur, which I am. I'm not. This is you're actually in the military. You can work your ass off. You could be the best. You could do whatever. You're never going to go You're not going to get paid another dollar. You could be the worst E4 or the best E4 in the whole military, and you get paid the same exact amount of money. Now,
Why is that?
different mindset. Well, because that's how the military is structured. You can't make it a big. I think a big part
Well, what
of it
if your
is.
rank is like? What if you're like the captain of your troop?
Well, that's
or
a
your
rank
unit?
thing. So then, but every captain's going to get paid the same amount.
Who
you could be
ranks you above and who rank?
the military in the Navy. It's a little different depending on the branch. In the Navy, it's mostly time. So you start off right as you go in. You're either an E1, E2, E3, depending on if you have some college credits or something. I think I started as an E3. You have to do 2 years in that, no matter what. If you dove in front of the president and took a bullet for him, and you're an E3, you're still an E3 until 2 years expires, and then you have to take some sort of a test. There's like a written test, but I think that's kind of bullshit. I don't even know. Then you become an E4. Then you do a certain amount of time as that. Then you take a test, and then it's mostly time based. And I'm pretty sure in the other branches, that's the case. There's some administrative element. Now, when you get up to certain, like when you get to in the Navy, it's E7 to make chief. That is actually a selection board. But you've been in for easily over 10 years, 10 to 15 years before you're even considered for that rank. Once you become an E7, that's not everybody gets selected. So you get basically selected by your peer E7s at that point to either become it or not. Similar ranks, I think, in the Army and the Marines, I think it's E6 is when you do that. But once you get to that rank, it's almost like a tenure thing. Like you can't be down. You can't really be D-ranked or whatever.
Say you jump in front of the president, right? Say you jump in front of the president, you survive, and
You get a cool
he
medal.
gives you a medal of honor.
Yeah.
Does that raise your pension after it's all
I
said
have
and
no
done?
idea. I think so.
You think so?
I mean, the medal, literally the Medal of Honor. I think, but I don't.
Like they're giving you another $500 a year, or like what?
Either way, it's not enough. Whatever it took
Yeah.
you to get that Medal of Honor, you deserve more than you're getting. And
It can increase from $16,000 to $70,000 annually if you get the Medal of Honor. So that's pretty cool.
pretty good. I mean, still probably not as much as you deserved, but
You don't think?
it's not easy to win a Medal
How do
of
you
Honor.
how do you deserve it then? Like, is
What-
anything enough ever? Like what? What?
Well,
what
again,
would you-
that's the whole point.
what
that
would
you're
you
not
say
doing
is
it.
enough?
You're not doing
Oh.
it for the money. I think that's the real key in the whole thing is like you are doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Mm.
And that's the difference between like the military and being an entrepreneur. But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that where we started was you were talking about you don't save money, and I was going to say when you're young you shouldn't save money. You should spend it on experiences. You shouldn't blow it on bullshit, but you should spend it on starting new businesses, seeing new things.
Yeah.
There's time to save money later. I know that's not like the popular, probably what's all the money people, but that's my take. Because at the end of the day, if you have experiences, you can leverage that in your 40s to make a lot more money than you could with the interest on the $200 you saved when you were 22 years old.
Yeah. And no, I don't really save any money. Every dollar I have, I usually spend it because, and people tell me I'm crazy. People tell me, why are you wasting your money? But at the end of the day, it's like I spend money on what I want to spend money on. And I don't want to spend money on anything I don't think is going to add value to my future self. You know what I mean?
I do.
I think that my future self, like this podcast, the digital world, is everything. Because 6 months from now, you're going to, well, maybe not 6 months, maybe 2 years from now, we're going to see AI characters. Half the people you see on social media are going to be AI. So if you're an actual brand who is an actual authentic brand, boom, you are literally him. You are everything. Like you will become and if you're big,
crazy.
if you're a celebrity, then these celebrities, like you think of a celebrity now, you think of an influencer, nothing. But when it's 90% of these influencers are AI, the ones who are still real people, those people are going to be the ones who can actually make an impact, a way bigger impact than they're making right now.
Yeah.
That's why I think you got 6 more months to do this and do it right, or else you're never going to be able to do it again because the market is going to become fucked by AI characters and AI influencers. Yeah.
Huh.
That's
And
the
what?
next
So that
generation.
they're going to come up with the whole thing themselves, or somebody's going to tell them what to talk about. You're saying.
Either or, but probably the first, like they're going to come up with whatever they want to talk about. Like I can just go to
Really?
any app right now. You can do it right now. get a video of whoever talking about whatever, and you can just feed it like talk about, Ebola for 2 hours. Boom,
Really?
there's a podcast.
Huh.
Yeah, but it's not great
No,
yet.
I'm
It's
sure
not
it wouldn't
great,
be.
but it's going
It'd be
to be
recycled
great.
garbage. I don't know.
It's going to be
Could
great.
It really be that great?
But
It's going to be the same. It's going to because it's not going to make anything up. It's just going to talk about something somebody already talked about.
no, I'm telling you.
Really?
Yeah, it's
I believe
trust-
you because
it's-
you're ahead of the curve. I mean,
That's why
this tech stuff.
this is huge, and you can't afford to take 3 weeks off. No offense. No, I'm not even kidding.
I didn't take 3.
Hey, but if you take 3 weeks off, schedule your old posts, 40 a day, 40 a day, 40 a day.
Remember you
Just
were
keep
talking
going,
about-
40 a day.
When I did your thing, you had run down a list of like how to make a good clip. Do you remember it? You had the whole thing.
You need a
like
backdrop.
HD.
You need a backdrop.
Okay,
You need a camera.
Yeah.
You need a mic.
got it.
You need lighting. Shadows in the face. I mean, but at the end of the day, who gives a fuck?
Because
all you need
algorithms?
is this.
Okay.
Like, however you can do it as cheap as possible, just to get it done. However you can just get it done, 40 a day.
Yep.
However
40
bad.
posts a day.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Well, you can for this podcast, you can make 100 clips. Boom.
Yeah.
That's 3 days of clips right there. 120. You can just keep feeding the AI.
Yeah.
120 clips, and you can afford it because that box was $500. All you gotta do is pay Opus Clip $349, and you will get 7,500,000 credits, which is enough for about 7,000 podcasts. Not 7,000, 700 podcasts.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's that's what I did. I just paid $349. Boom. That's it. Like,
Right on.
But some people pay the monthly fee where it's just like that. But
Huh.
Opus Clip, and then scheduling tools. Like if you're still
Yeah.
posting,
Yeah.
man.
That's what I do.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. I know it's ridiculous. I got
How do you clip your stuff?
Opus Clip.
Oh, but you're downloading it from Opus Clip?
Yeah.
Why don't you use their scheduling tool?
I don't know. I don't know.
Pull up your Opus Clip. Let's see this.
I'm gonna learn in real time here.
Here, I'll pull up mine too. Look, so I've been getting, so this is just today, like published.
Here's mine.
Like since we've done this podcast, I've already posted 6 times. Just while we've
So
been
how
talking.
do you do it on here then?
Okay, so let's go here. Let's go to calendar, which is on the sidebar. We're on Opus Clip. We're going to talk about, so calendar, boom. Begin scheduling.
No way.
Oh, you got 3,000 credits. You've already bought the thing.
Yeah, I think I did.
Boom. So you can just schedule posts. Let's just go to, and then you can click all your podcasts.
Yeah.
Let's just click the first one, or maybe the second one. And then you can choose between all your clips. Oh my gosh! Literally, just go down the line, and then if you've already posted them, it gives you a caption. So let's go. What? Oh, you don't have your account set up yet.
Yeah, I
So
haven't connected it.
what's your account? Instagram.
Instagram.
Let's
would
connect
be
your
one of
accounts. Let's go click Instagram. Then sign into your Instagram real quick. Then you can connect your Instagram. That's the way to do it, because Opus Clip has your transcript, it has the video, and it gives you the best possible caption to make your clip go viral. So then you don't have to.
For me, and this
Yeah.
might be old-fashioned.
Yeah.
So I like to edit mine and like make sure it's like the
You
best
can't
quality.
afford that. It's quantity over quality, 100%.
Really?
Quantity over quality. Until you can get to a point where you can do 40 quality a day, quantity over quality. Because who really cares if you have like a typo or some clip doesn't look the greatest, or no viral video of mine I edited. It was all just the same thing Opus Clip gave me.
Looks like we failed to connect to your account.
Just click it again. With Instagrams, you have to try a couple times.
Oh.
But no, this is huge, the Opus Clip scheduling tool. Because before, if you want to do 40 a day, you're going to
Now
be
it's doing
spending.
Facebook instead.
Yeah, that's it. Because Meta, yeah, it's the same thing. And then once you go back to Opus Clip, it'll give you the option to connect to your Instagram, as long as you click Instagram. But no, yeah, this is Instagram and Meta it's the future. Yeah, definitely only say
Keep saying
positive.
it's failed, but I'm just gonna track this down.
Maybe on your computer, maybe.
Yeah.
But I every day I post something about the Meta Ray-Bans. Post something about the Meta Quests. Have you seen the Meta Ray-Bans?
No.
You can literally wear sunglasses, go to the mall, walk around the mall, go to your favorite store or shop. I mean, the West Michigan Mall is the Granville Mall. It's a beautiful mall, incredible mall. And you can record without anyone knowing you're recording. You can click a button right in the side, and it's a Ray-Ban, so you look like $1 million already. And it's the Meta Ray-Ban, so you click the button, it records, and then if you're done recording, boom, and you just want to play some music, hey Meta, play my favorite playlist, and it'll play your favorite playlist. And then Meta is even smart enough to know that if you want to stop playing music, you can just say, hey Meta, I'm done with the music, or hey Meta, turn it up, hey Meta, turn it down, all through your sunglasses, connected Bluetooth through your phone. And I love Meta. We both love Meta. Meta is incredible. Meta owns Instagram. And I would definitely post that clip if I were you. But yeah.
See, what I like about this is like, this is the business. This is like this is the way the world works, like it or not. And I think doesn't matter what demographic you're in, you got to get in touch with this. I think I've lacked that for a long time. But you got to get in touch with this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I've seen too many people do it to not do it myself. Like I used to be the guy who's had no friends, who's just sitting in my room watching YouTube for 10 hours a day. But like I was watching, but I was also studying. Like, what are they doing? How are they doing this? Like people like Logan Paul, people would make fun of him because he would kiss up to the bigger guys, or like he would always wear. Every time Mark Zuckerberg came out with a new product, like the new Meta thing, he was the first one wearing it courtside to a thing, doing all this content with it. But it wasn't his thing, so everyone was like, what are you doing?
Right.
But, oh, fuck, that's my bank.
You need to talk to him?
Yeah, I'll call him later.
Ahead.
It's my ID. I gave him my passport, but they decided not to scan my passport. But this is besides, like Logan Paul, he would always promote the Meta because it helps Meta. Meta likes that, so they're going to help him. That's why Logan, you know what I mean?
Do you think that's algorithmic? Like they have algorithms listening to see what content, or how does that work?
The algorithm might choose to boost like a Meta post, but at the end of the day, with every social media platform, the owner or the people, they have discretion. If they want to ban someone, they're going to ban someone. If they want to do anything, if they want to, cancel, like discredit or make your posts not be able to be recommended to anyone, they can do it. Boom. Just like that. Snap of a finger.
Yeah.
But if you like them and if you promote their products, they're not going to do that.
Sure.
So and especially with somebody like me who posts like controversial stuff, I got to do whatever I can to make sure that
I know for me, for one, I love Meta.
Meta
is my favorite company on earth.
It's amazing.
That Facebook. I mean, Facebook is amazing.
It all started with Facebook. No, it did. It really did. Back in
It's true. It's sort of.
Mark
It really
Zuckerberg.
started with MySpace. See, that's my generation right there.
Well,
that didn't even exist when I was in college, actually.
Wait, no, it started with at Harvard University. Mark Zuckerberg founded the company.
True.
And he went through a lot of battles, a lot of adversity, but he persevered. And then he bought Instagram.
He did.
He bought Instagram.
I saw, and there was like a whole thing recently about whether they were going to divest it and all that. But I think it makes a lot of sense for them to be together, to be honest with you. I certainly see what he's trying to do.
Well, it's like every big company. If they were just their own company, they wouldn't be big. They only became big because they bought 50 other companies.
In the case of
that were
Facebook, I
similar.
mean, they became pretty big anyway. But then,
Instagram's
they bought
way bigger
WhatsApp.
than Facebook.
I always watched.
Instagram's
bigger?
so much bigger.
Was it when they bought it, or did they?
No, but it was getting there.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would be nearly as big. It would not, like Facebook would be bigger than Instagram right now. But
yeah,
like
no,
Facebook is the old heads.
These are tools that you really can't do without in business today. It's very, very difficult to not have that presence and to not understand social media. I think that's important. Again, for like people of my age, I think there's a lot of resistance to it.
Yeah.
And people like yourself, I mean, you know how it works, and you use it. It's just like any other. It's like you had to understand newspapers 40 years ago if you wanted to be in business, and you had to understand how to put an ad in the yellow page thing, and it's really no different.
Which, for me in particular, I know I'm intimidating to opponents because I know how to do it myself. Like mailers, I know how to do EDM. I've gone through USPS a million times, but at the same time, I wouldn't be able to run a self-funded campaign, spend $50K in an election, and win this election because there's 270,000 voters. My opponents, they've had a track record of spending millions on campaigns.
Yep.
Millions. I can't compete with that, but they can't compete with me and my social media presence. That's what I know.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Because that's everything.
That's been the
they would have
great
already had to spend $1 million to get my social media views because they can't get it organically.
Even like, I don't know, certainly 20 years ago, maybe 10 even, if you didn't have access to a radio or television platform, you really had no option to get a message out. Nowadays, between social media, the ease of podcasting, all that, it's not that it's easy to have a blow-up podcast.
It's not easy.
It's not easy, but it's at least equalized to that you get a shot. There's not 15 news outlets now and if it's not one of those, you have absolutely no chance of getting a message out. You can buy your own stuff like you did, start a podcast, get familiar with social media, figure out how it works and how to reach people. It's just very interesting.
Well, for me, I have an advantage because I've been talking in front of a camera since I was 11. Like, I'm 21. I'm young, but I've been talking in front of a camera since I was 11.
What were you doing at 11?
YouTube. Just like...
Really?
I posted a video of swimming
that's wild.
stereotypes. It got like 700,000 views. I was 11 and I posted that.
What were you posting about?
Swimming stereotypes, swimming videos.
Swimming.
Swimming, yeah. Like, every swimmer has seen this video. Literally, because there's not 700,000 swimmers in America.
Probably not.
There's not, but this here, I'm gonna pull this up real quick.
Yeah.
But latest, let's go to popular. Oh, I guess
Which one is
swimming
it?
stereotypes I posted. I guess
Swimming stereotypes.
I was 14 when I posted that, but I was
660K views.
yeah.
Do you get money from this?
I've gotten money from it, but I was 14 and I got I probably got a total of 14 grand from that video.
Really?
I would get $1,000 checks from YouTube. My parents
you were
ran the
14?
channel. My parents ran the channel, so that was the thing. But always loopholes.
It's not playing. We're trying to bad. It's probably the roof, but I'm gonna pull it up.
No, it is. I think it is playing.
No, it's just black screen.
Yeah, it was.
Crazy.
I edited that on iMovie on my phone.
That's cool.
Yeah, but that's the advantage I have.
Yep.
Is I don't have fear talking in front of a camera because I confronted that fear when I was 11 when I started posting on YouTube.
That's big.
You know what I mean?
That's what it comes down to. And honestly, there's always a fear when you're in front of people and you're in front of a camera, that you're going to be perceived in a certain way. And I don't know. To me, it's to somebody like my age, it's difficult to perceive growing up where on social media you can just constantly be judged for every freaking thing you do. But I guess, like you said, I guess it's good to understand how to do that too.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have done that when I was 11 unless I had I at a very young age I had the mindset that nobody else had, which was one, like, depressed as fuck. I had very suicidal thoughts. Didn't want to live, but at the same time it's like I didn't give a fuck about anything, about anybody. My cousin was he was my best friend, and I lost him when I was 10.
Right.
And it was tough. It was like, I don't give a fuck what anyone else says. I don't give a fuck what I do. I don't give a fuck what I ruin. I don't give a fuck about my future. And everyone's telling you, you're messing up your future by posting this stuff. You're messing up your future by not posting this stuff, by not posting whatever the fuck you want to post. That's how you're messing up your future, because that is the future, unless you want to be stuck in the Matrix. which most people at the end of the day, 99% of people are going to be stuck in the Matrix.
For sure. I just watched that movie on a plane not too long ago. It's the first time I've watched it in like
The
30
Matrix?
years. God,
Yeah.
that movie was so spot on, way ahead of its time.
I'm not even talking. I'm just talking about Andrew Tate. You know Andrew Tate? You're gonna do not like say anything positively about Andrew Tate because you will get a lot of hate. Like your business, it
I
won't
don't
be a
know
good
who
look.
it is, so.
But the smartest innovator in the social media space, content rewards agencies. You know when I was talking to you about that. Mm-hmm. Do you remember?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. But when I was talking about that, you had a few vosas. So it was, but he was the first. Granted, he was talking about like, I don't want a female pilot. I don't want like very, just stupid things he was saying. But at the same time, it was long form content that he had his team and people that were in his agency clipping up that content and posting it and, spinning it to get the most amount of views possible. And he didn't give a fuck. He was like, I want my face to get the most amount of views.
Interesting.
Because he knew. And he's been also saying you got 6 more months before AI characters take over. AI characters will take over.
Wow.
And to do what I did, 0 to 7K, you won't be able to do it. Because the market will just be too saturated. You think the market right now is saturated? Just wait. The AI characters are going to take over. And when
I'll go ahead and say it. If you listen to AI have a conversation, you're a fucking loser.
You won't be able to tell the difference. But when you know that someone's real because you knew them before AI characters took over, then automatically you don't give a fuck what they say. You just know they're real.
Wow.
Then you like them.
Crazy.
But you won't. But you won't be able to get to the point. Like if you start with when you're competing with AI characters, you can't win because they're gonna win. But if you start, that's why when I say you have 6 months, but the AI characters are going to take over in 6 months. You can't start then. You can't. Wow. You literally can't. You can't compete with them unless you can, validly prove to every single person you're real by doing like IRL streams.
There's going to be a way.
IRL
I
streams.
think there's going to be a way.
Yeah, IRL in real life. Like you go to the mall and you stream in the mall. Like that's what AI can't do.
How
and like where you
I think
can,
there's
where
going
you
to have
can
to be
stream
some
with
sort of a token or something like that proves that something is real.
Verified check mark, I guess. But anyone can get a verified check mark.
Yeah, I don't
like
think
if
that's
you have
it.
a business, you can post AI characters.
There's going to have to be something technology based that proves whether something is not technology.
But that's the thing. There's not going to be.
I think well, then I'm going to invent it because I think that.
Or no, there is. But that's why. No, but nobody cares. At the end of the day, nobody really cares.
Well, that's the saddest part.
But it's true. But it's true. Who cares? Who cares?
Now you're getting into the Matrix. Like I'd rather live in ignorant bliss in a fake world than know what the hell is going on.
That's what's coming. That's what's coming. I mean, you can laugh about it, but it's true.
I'm not laughing at you.
I saw this like 4 months ago, and I'm like, this is what's coming.
Wow.
I got one shot. I can't fuck this up. And the only way I could fuck it up is just by giving up.
Yeah.
So I can't give up.
True.
Because this is the only shot I have before AI characters will take over and I can't compete with them. I can't do IRL streams. That's something I'm not comfortable with. Mm-hmm. That's the only way you can prove to the entire public you're real. That's the only way you're going to see people prove to the public that they're a real person.
Wow. Unless
people know that they're real from the past, before AI characters took over. The real people and people consistently know are real, those are the people who are going to blow the fuck up when AI characters take over.
Well, I am Chris Marandino. I'm a real person. It is the year 2025.
Yeah.
I love Meta. I love Mark Zuckerberg.
Same here.
I love everybody in charge of everything right now.
I do too. Yeah, I love Meta. I love... No, I get hot when I talk about AI. It's the future.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man.
It's the future.
It's pretty wild.
It's the future.
Well, look, Kevin Maas, I appreciate you coming out and talking. This was every bit as interesting as I knew it would be. I learned a whole bunch again. You are definitely a leading edge voice. You definitely got your pulse on the world as it is, whether you want it to be or not. This is the world we live in. You got the mindset. You're going to continue to do big things. Looking forward to winning your race in 2026 and being a state senator for the state of Michigan, representing the Western Michigan demographic.
The number one cities: Holland, Grand Haven, Spring Lake, Zeeland, Hudsonville, Jenison, Borculo, West Olive, Port Sheldon, and Unica. They are the best cities in the world, and it's not even close.
Dude, I appreciate your time. Awesome stuff. Great talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Kevin Maas.
Thank you.